Greetings Internet, DDA here, and welcome to another iteration of a Star Wars Unlimited Showdown match. We have today bringing you Logan on his Han Green and Caio featured again, fresh from his top 8 match that we managed to record on his Bossk Blue control list. And I have with me today a guest commentator, Anthony, from our local scene. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience, Anthony, and what brings you here today?
Yeah, I've been playing since basically the start of the game. Last Showdown, I ironically was playing Bossk Blue against Logan in the final. He beat me 2-1, so I definitely am familiar with this matchup. Did okay at the last PQ I went to. Ready to watch Bossk Blue struggle.
Yeah, we just saw a wild sequence there. It looks like Caio dropped down Dr. Pershing, but it didn't look like Logan had a turn 1 play there, which for Han is just wild there. Not having a 2 or a 3 cost card in hand. Starting off with a resupply on the Han side to go up to 4 resource, and Caio's going to draw a card with Dr. Pershing.
Yeah, against Han, drawing cards is when you're playing Bossk, is one of the best ways to keep yourself in the match, because the tech DJ combo and just all the pressure they can put out with the discard stuff, the smuggle, it's a real challenge to stay on the game when you're playing Bossk Blue. Yeah,
and one of the greatest plays that the Han player can do on turn 2 is that resupply, because of course it opens up the deploy on the 3rd turn of the game and the ability to jump all the way to 7, but we're going to see an echo-based defender, so we know that we're not going to see the 7 drop on Logan's side this turn.
So, yeah, I've talked to him about the lines he likes to play in Han quite a bit, and I don't remember exactly what happened here. But I'm guessing he's going to deploy Han, attack, and then maybe smuggle out tech and set up for some crazy play next turn.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a great point. The echo-based defender to defend, also it's a great, push into Pershing. You don't want them to just Pershing draw all day without you taking it out. So that's probably why he ended up dropping down the echo base. And then you're right, he probably is going to tech for 4. That seems like a really good way to curve out.
Yeah, revealing 2 copies of Pershing and 2 copies of Takedown here is interesting. It's like, do you want to reveal more individual cards, or tell them, hey, I've got 2 of each of these? I think the 2 Pershings make a lot of sense. Doesn't really give Logan anything useful. But I'm curious if telling him he had 2 Takedowns was the right play.
Yeah, Takedown, great card in the Han matchup because, of course, it answers both Tech and DJ, which is one of the most important things to do in the Han matchup. So we actually are going to see the Ezra play. Oh, and what just happened there? Did he not deploy? Okay, well, you know what makes sense? He had the Chilton for 6, so Han obviously wasn't going to get in there. He's probably going to look for a surprise strike here to take out that Chilton cleanly, or he does have that Han unit in hand that's also 6 damage. Yeah, so just holding off on the deploy there because he probably did not want to even give Caio a chance to take out the Han leader with that Chilton.
Yeah, I mean, if I were the Bossk player here, I'd be happy about that. An early Childzen, Chilton, whatever he is a really great way to keep yourself in the game. Logan put an echo base into his discard, and he's said, in Han Green in general, likes to have 1 copy of each of the 3 to 4 cost heroism units in their discard for home 1 later in the game. So I'd keep an eye on that, because I think that you'll see he makes strategic choices about what to discard.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely have to do that with Han. Always think about what's in your discard for not only the home 1, but also the Marauder. And of course, Echo Base is one of the greatest cards that you can pick with a home 1. But we're going to see the takedown here on Ezra. Limit that card advantage. Limit that card draw from Logan on the Han side. Of course, one of the best things that you can do against Han Solo is not only discard cards from his hand, but also make sure you're answering the Ezra, you're answering the tech, and you do not let them get extra card advantage.
I personally kind of think that was a mistake.
Yep. So
if I were Caio here, I probably would have either deployed Bossk or killed the Echo Base, because you saw what just happened with the trade.
Yep, so we did see the Hotshot Blaster in with the Chilton there. Yeah, I do see what you're saying, because you always got to assume that the Han player has a hot shot blaster in his resource line, one of the best cards to tuck under there for at any time that you need it. And of course, the Ezra did not answer the Chilton when it was in play with a hot shot, but the Echo Base did. So I see what you're saying there. But we are going to see the Han deploy. We are double leadering it up now. Both leaders facing off against each other in the ground arena. Whose leader will reign supreme?
It's kind of wild to me that Logan did that here. I mean, you would think he'd be worried about like Bossk claiming and then playing like Power of the Dark Side, but I guess with the 4 resources up, he's more concerned about developing his board, you know?
Yeah, because Caio did spend all of his resources on that takedown. He knows that he can at least play this tech from Smuggle. Of course, there's almost no reason, especially in Han, to play tech from hand. Get that card advantage, get that kind of pseudo-free card draw by playing it for 1 more from Smuggle. And of course, Han easily gets 1 more resource.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough position here, because like you could maybe perilous the Han if you had one, or you can kill the tech, but you can't answer them both on 6 resources in a really effective way.
Yeah, to me, if I had the choice, I go for the tech. Like, Han is powerful and definitely sets up for many different things. But I know limiting Han's cards and options is the number one thing you want to do. So, yep, absolutely going to answer that tech with a takedown. I completely agree with that play. But we are going to...
I agree.
We are going to see the Han unit, classic Han here, coming in, taking advantage of Bossk's low HP on that 5-turn deploy. The 6 HP is perfect for Han unit ambush.
Yeah, if it were me here as Bossk, I'd probably at this point just be trying to stall things out until I can get the 8 resources and play a super laser. I think Pershing's a good way to slow that down.
Yeah, because that the Han, likewise, like these decks are almost, I don't want to say they have the same strategy, because they definitely don't, but they're both playing this kind of grindy card advantage game going into this matchup against each other. Caio using the takedowns to hit the Ezra and the tech, and then Logan going into the Pershing instead of going into base.
Yeah, and something you'll see Logan do a lot during these games is checking his resources, like really looking at them. He's mentioned that Han Green is a pretty intense deck to play, because you don't just have to think about the board and your hand, but what's in your deck, what's in your resources, what's in your discard pile. It's all relevant all the time in a way that usually isn't the case for most decks. Absolutely,
yeah. One of the... tech really opened up the game in using your resource line as a second hand. The Smuggle mechanic in general does that, but tech takes it to a whole new level. We're going to see the Merciless Contest here, and then trading the Han unit. Very interesting instead of the Han leader. Obviously, he has to have a huge bomb he is dropping this turn to save that Han leader. That 1 resource must be extremely relevant to Logan right now. We do see a Ewing in hand. How many resources does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4,
he has
5,
9.
6, 7, 8, 9. I'm
expecting he's planning a DJ straight out resources at 4-9, or
tech for
into
4.
DJ.
Oh, yeah. Tech into DJ. You're right. Tech into DJ for 9. Here it comes. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. And of course, being that the Han player had swung with Han earlier in combat, he is set to defeat a resource, and surely that will be Caio's resource and not one of his own. And there it goes.
So, like I said, Logan's played this match in this exact spot before several months ago, and he delayed me going from 7 to 8 resources, I think twice or 3 times in the final game. And he knows that if you can keep the Bossk at like 6 to 7, it's a much easier matchup.
Oh, for sure. Like if you don't have to deal with just everything, like the whole top end, if you're sticking them on 6 or 7 resources, you just don't have to deal with any of the nasty stuff. Avengers, Crate Dragons, all that good stuff. Don't worry about it. Just play Han and tech DJ on the same turn. Crazy sequence of events there. And we can kind of see, Han is more than just a mid-range deck, right? It's just because if you're following the wheel, like the arch type wheel, control decks should dominate mid-range. However, we are not seeing that here because Han is much, much more than a mid-range. It is a tier 0 mid-range because control decks can't touch you when you do nothing but steal resource. Rivals fall on the tech.
That's a wild play.
May seem like an overextension over there from the boss side, but tech is a kill on sight card, and can you blame him? Can you blame the Rivals fall? I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Looks like he has 5 cards in hand. I know there's a Death Mark and a Blast and a Vigilance, but I can't quite tell what the other 2 are.
Yeah, he has a Perilous too. So we're gonna.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're gonna see the U-Wing here. 3 resources still up, and I know Logan does have a Falcon in hand that he showed earlier. So surely we're gonna get this U-Wing and then see the Falcon from hand. Wonder what we're gonna get out. Oh, I see him grabbing for that Echo-based Defender, one of Logan's favorite cards, and of course, one of the best cards in Han Green. Yep.
Yeah, the Greedo is basically in his deck, from what I understand, is an anti-aggro tool, as well as to smooth out your U-Wing math, because it always feels bad to play like 6 resources worth of stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Actually, that's one of the things, like, I played Han Green. Logan and I talk a lot about Han Green. And that's one of the things, like, when Logan was updating his list for set 3, one of the things I pushed for him to do was add Greedo. He had taken it out, but you're right, absolutely spot on with that assessment. It's just amazing with Ewing, and we can see that here, like Logan's ability to put 9 power on the board with that 7 cost, plus the Falcon pushing in for damage. Plus now you have to deal with tech and all of the resources and all of the secondary hand that we have. Deathmark on tech.
This is really interesting because I'm pretty sure is a Super Laser Blast in Caio's hand, and I think that there's a temptation to play it here normally. I suspect the reason he didn't, despite there being a tech on the field, is that if he does it right now, then it's pretty likely that Logan just has a second DJ in his hand. I think he's trying to maybe delay it 1 turn, keep Logan from extending the board more, and yeah, he's going to take somewhere like 10 to 12 damage, but if he clears the board then, he gets 2 more cards, and maybe it works out. But I think I would have just dropped the Super Laser Blast there and just said, you know what, I'm killing a tech, I'm killing the DJ,
Yeah,
so we'll see how this plays out.
Mostly because of the tech, of course, like kill on sight on tech, and then it feels like such an uphill battle. Seeing the open fire here after the boss ping with the death mark makes sense. That explains why he did the death mark, right? Because he had exact lethal on the tech with the boss ping. Makes complete sense there.
Yeah, the death mark's a hard thing to live with.
Yeah, it may seem like an uphill battle here against Han Green, but the thing about it is that Han Green will eventually run out of gas if you keep killing tech. I swear it's going to happen. I promise you.
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle because it's not just the 3 techs.
That's sequencing there. The Hotshot Blaster on DJ for 5. The Falcon Surprise Strike for 6. Pushing in insane damage to end the game, and that's going to end game 1 going to Han Green and Logan in this Showdown finals match. Now, what does the boss player think about going into game 2? And I ask you this because I know you have boss experience, Anthony. So what is this boss player thinking right now going into game 2?
I mean, realistically, it's probably, man, this sucks. But, I don't know what his sideboard is. I talked to Caio for maybe half an hour after these matches about stuff. I see a Clan Saxon Gauntlet in there, which obviously doesn't make sense for this matchup.
Yeah, he is actually...
what those 4 cards are.
He's putting in 3 force chokes, it looked like.
That makes sense. I would imagine the 4th card is probably some... Well, let's see if we can see it.
Yeah, 3 force chokes and 2 red cards. I can't really see what they are.
They could be pillages. It's not super likely, but I know some people play that. I'm sure we'll see them throughout the course of the game. But I think, seeing how the game ended there, I feel like playing with Super Laser Blast would have been a better play. But even despite that, I don't know if it's a winning play, because it's just a hard matchup. Like, I don't think that Han Green is as bad as Han Yellow for the Bossk deck. Like, I think you can beat Han Green sometimes, but it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's really a matchup that's determined, I feel like, in the kind of on the Han flip turn, like what's going to happen? Is this game going to go your way or not? You kind of know when Han flips how the game is going to go, because that burst ramp turn that Han Green has sets them up for the kind of like the entering into the late game, because that, of course, is not the late game for them. That's their burst resource turn. They play a late game card, but if you disrupt them, you can kind of stick them in the mid game for a turn or two longer until they actually have enough resources to drop like the U-Wings, the home ones, and things like that. So that's why you pretty much know going into the Han flip how the rest of the game is going to go.
Yeah, I know that Logan sideboarded in 2 Bodhi Rooks as well as Kira, and I'm not exactly sure what else. I talked to him about this, and he took out the Greedos and some mix of the early game units. I think he also brings in 3 copies of Spark of Rebellion if they're not already in the main deck, but they might be.
Yeah, they're probably main. That's pretty common to run 3 Sparks main in Han. One of Logan's favorite plays, of course, is a turn 1 Spark. But
yeah, it looks like he took out Greedos, R2D2, Echo Base, and some other stuff. I think he just kind of like picks like a mix of the early game units, because they're really not critical to the strategy when you're facing Bossk. Like, I mean, the Tech DJ combo isn't the only way to win, but like it ensures the win, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Taking out the Greedos, yeah, I guess I could see that. They're not really doing much in the matchup. It's good to push damage and curve out the U-Wing, but yeah, they're not really doing much. The Bodhis, though, are very significant, of course. Play it for 5 from hand, or just play it for 3 on the U-Wing, which is, of course, one of Han's favorite cards. He loves playing U-Wing, one of the greatest things you could do on the Han flip turn. And then, of course, also, if that is the thing you do on the Han flip turn, you're doing it a clear number of turns before the Super Laser, and Bodhi is one of those cards that is your assurance against the Super Laser. Super Laser being a great card into Han. You know, cards are limited on the Han side. You know, we talk about him having an infinite hand and things like that, but in all reality, the fact of the matter is, Han burns cards. Cards are limited on the Han side. That's why he plays the walkers. That's why he plays the home ones to reuse things and tech. You know, all these things are to combat the detriment to playing Han. It makes it seem like he doesn't have a detriment, but you can take advantage of that weakness of him if you know that going in and if you play the proper cards to do so.
Yeah, I think one strategy that Bossk can apply to this matchup, if they don't, you know, fall super behind in the mid game, is to maybe try milling with the Vigilances, because you will find that because of all the smuggling that Han decks run out of cards in their deck faster than an average deck.
Yeah.
Counterintuitively, the Bossk like bounty power is not super great in this matchup, which is one of the reasons I think it's bad. Is against other decks, you can place a bounty, you can ping, collect it twice maybe, but it's not super great against Han most of the time, because top target doesn't really do a lot for you, and Deathmark does draw cards, but when you're, you know, being resource stolen, that's not really going to help you too much.
Yeah, and this is actually, you and I were talking about this recently, about how the low number of bounties in the boss deck, you know, you and I were discussing that, you know, 9 is the number that's okay for Bossk to function, but I think it more speaks to the limited number of options that Bossk has for bounties, and kind of what you're saying right now. Like, he really doesn't have a bounty that's kind of like he's looking for or taking over in this matchup. We're going to see Han start out here. Wait, no, he didn't start with initiative. He must have just passed, right? Yes. Given Caio's hand there, it looks like he started with initiative, passed, and then got the Sparked of Rebellion, taking out the Merciless Contest there, a great early game pick. Caio really doesn't have the hand set up there for Chilton, so not really going to have to worry about that too much, although he did just draw 2 blue cards, so maybe we might be seeing that next turn.
Yeah, it's a tough resource choice, because you want to keep Takedown and Force Choke to help deal with with DJ or Tech, I would, the top target's what I was thinking would be Resource, because Perilous is going to be really great on the Han leader. Well, the second Spark is brutal there.
Hey,
I expect that takedown's going away. Maybe the Perilous.
Logan says, all right, you want to play the card advantage game? Let's go. I will show you a little thing about card advantage.
Yep, there it goes.
And he has a Bodhi in hand, too.
Yeah, so the Perilous gets thrown out there because one way that you can keep yourself in this matchup is that typically Bossk deploys around the same time that Han's going to come out, and you can Perilous the Han and then flip your Bossk and kill Han. And if you put a bounty on him, it's even better, obviously. So getting rid of the Perilous there makes a lot of sense, because I think it's more scary than the actual like tech removal stuff, because you only have one Han leader, but you have a lot of techs.
Yeah, what's really interesting is we're seeing kind of like the different modes of the Han deck, only revealing one blue card over there on Caio's side,
This
making
is such
it 3-3.
an interesting play.
Yeah, just take out the Echo base.
Yeah, I was going to say that he only revealed one blue card because it's all he needed to, but I think that was actually all he had.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say, though, is like we're seeing kind of the different modes of the Han deck, because I feel like if you watch a Han deck play against an aggro deck, that sequence of play there would never have happened. It's just very interesting. Han playing a extremely controlled game, doing double Spark and Bodhi for the 5.
Yeah, this is brutal. Like, if you've played a control deck in the Han Yellow, you're familiar with the pain that Bodhi brings, but even for 5 resources, it's still pretty rough.
Yeah.
You'll probably see the takedown get thrown out, I would expect, because he doesn't mind Force Stroke as much because he draws a card off of it, but takedown is always nasty. Yeah,
Logan just showing the different modes of the Han deck, saying, okay, I'm facing a control deck. Are you a control deck? Because I'm also a control deck.
Is that a third Spark in Logan's hand?
What? All right. We're chalking this up to the draw gods on this one. How are you going to start game 2 with triple Spark Bodhi against a Bossk deck?
The best opening if you're playing Bossk into Sabine is Pershing into the Client into Childson, right? Ironically, it's also the best opening into Han Green, I think, or Han Yellow, because getting minions on the board is one way you can slow down the discard and like disruption strategy. Unfortunately, it looks like Caio drew the Pershing now, which is, obviously not very useful.
He's
still going to play it, but...
Yeah, no damage has come in. Obviously, like, this is the double flip turn. Logan is just going to claim there. Just claim, not even think about the Han. He probably wants the cards in his hand, so he felt like he was in such a good position with that double Spark Bodhi. So we're seeing a high level of experience here coming from Logan on the Han side of things, delaying the deploy a turn. Likely did not want to burn any of the cards that he had in his hand. Just Logan having a ton of reps on this Han deck, knowing when to deploy and knowing when to wait one turn, even though he had to take that Bossk attack. But starting out here with the Kira, wondering what we're going to name. Maybe the Merciless, although he could still Merciless for 6. Maybe the Takedown. I'm not sure there what he would call. Maybe the Merciless, just because it commits him. It commits all the resources, if that's going to be the play, right?
I believe, if I recall, what happened is that he named the Takedown, but I guess if he discards one of these cards, we know he didn't name it.
Yeah.
I doubt it's the Merciless, because if Bossk plays the Merciless there, he has to kill his own Pershing.
Oh, okay. So getting the death mark. Yeah, I was thinking either Takedown or Merciless, but yeah, that's a good point there, that he would have to take out the Pershing, and likely he would not do that. Yeah, good call on that. And of course, Open Fire doesn't answer Kira, so he wasn't really concerned about that. So yeah, Takedown makes sense there for the call.
It is interesting that these... well, I mean, I assume he's not going to flip Han this turn. I mean... He just played that second Spark, so I don't think if he Han powered and flipped, he'd have a 2-cost card to play.
See, I would flip Han here just to take out the Pershing, as crazy as that sounds. Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want them to get the card draw, and like just like offer them no options. Yep, we're gonna see it. Yep, and likely go into Pershing, I'm thinking.
I wonder why he open fired the Kira. I mean, to me, that tells me that the Takedown was the card named. But at that point, if you're like, what's the point of putting 4 damage onto it? I guess he's hoping to hit it with Bossk, but then his Bossk dies, and he's traded it into Han anyway. So like,
Yeah.
What's he setting up for? Is I guess my question.
Hmm. Yeah. Wonder. Yep, definitely makes sense there to see the Han flip, even though, he's not going to do another play. Just to take out that Pershing, reduce the card advantage that on the Bossk side of things. Of course, one of the things about running Tech DJ is your ability to take cards away from the opponent. Like, yes, stealing a resource is very important, but cards in this game is a resource. Like, it is a resource mechanic, the number of cards you draw, and just taking a card away from the opponent is almost as significant as taking a resource. So we're going to see the open fire there to answer Han unit, going in with the Kira, and then having the Merciless answer the Kira.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this was a bad line for Bossk, because he placed the open fire on Kira when he could have played the Merciless for the same cost at the same time, and he wound up using it on Kira anyway. So, like, I'm not really sure why he wasted the open fire there.
Well, I
guess maybe he had been hoping to play a bounty and ping Kira once his boss died, but this still seems a little strange.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, he likely could not, just probably did not know what to expect from Logan there, and was just trying to kind of hedge his bets, depending on what he would draw there. But yeah, we are going to see the Bodhi there. Did he get a discard?
No, the only card in hand was Emperor Palpatine.
Okay. Yep, Emperor Palpatine there. Makes sense. Take out the tech. Actually, a really good play here by the Bossk. Actually, he could be swinging this game right now. Taking out that tech. Putting 6 power on the board. Although, 6 power, 6 HP. Oh, we're seeing the Ewing. Are we going to see it? The classic Han play coming out here.
You could also see Luke. Logan plays 1 or 2 copies of Luke Skywalker in his deck.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, both Han unit and Luke Skywalker.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, both Han unit and Luke Skywalker are great answers to 6 HP units, and seeing that there.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is, like, imagine that Caio still had the open fire. Like, he could have used that to finish off Bodhi. There's a couple different things that could happen here. It looks like he has an Entrenched and a Crate in his hand. I'm not sure what that third card is.
Yeah,
but
the Force
obviously,
Choke.
Yeah, like, you think about, you're obviously resourcing, right? But do you play the Crate because you'd be worried about anything returning at the hand? Now, I don't think Caio's seen a Waylay yet, and we know that Logan doesn't play Waylay, but Caio doesn't know that, so this is a really risky play.
Oh, yeah, for sure, right? Yeah, Waylay would just annihilate the board right now. Sending Bodhi into the Crate Dragon for 3 damage. See, to me, I thought maybe he would open Entrenched on Luke unit, but it looks like he wanted to go for the risky play, and take 3 cards from Logan in the process. Taking all the damage from the Hot Shot and the Luke and everything. Crate Dragon surely did his job, so we'll have to see.
Put 1 damage on the base.
Yeah, right. We'll have to see if Logan can recover from all the cards he spent to do that play. Falcon is a great way to do that. Of course, just continuously pushing in the damage. Despite everything, Logan looks like he has about 4 or 5 cards in his hand compared to Caio's 3 cards in his hand. Just crazy. Smuggle is an insane mechanic.
If I were the Bossk player, I wouldn't feel great here, but I also wouldn't feel, like, desperate. Like, this is an okay spot. The problem he's going to run into, obviously, is these Falcons. And here's exactly the spot. Like, if he had that open fire, now obviously the Bodhi would have discarded it, but, I guess there goes the Pershing.
Yep, seeing huge plays here from Logan's side, having 10 resources, able to do both the Falcon and the Han unit there. Take out the Pershing. This is actually, this matchup is pretty interesting because there's a lot of parallels between, like, Pershing and Tech, like Han and Emperor Palpatine. There's a lot of parallels in this matchup that make this matchup pretty interesting.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a Power of the Dark Side, a Rival's Fall. There's the Power, if that makes sense. Yeah, so he got rid of that Han pretty smoothly. This Falcon, he Is he going to Rivals Fall it? I mean,
I
maybe.
would.
I can't tell because I think there's still is that a Force Choke? I can't see what that middle card is.
Yeah, Force Choke's non-vehicle, so.
Yeah, I'm saying so that one wouldn't work. And the left card is a little hard to read.
Oh, he opts to not do it.
Yeah, this is something I noticed Caio doing in all of his matches was a lot of passing. Between his top 8, his top 4, and his finals game, he would often pass and take 3 damage from a Falcon. I think it happened like, well, I guess not just the Falcon, but from a lot of things. So we'll see if that ends up being a detriment to him.
Yeah, because if he fought Rivals Fall there, he did draw into both a Super Laser Blast and a Power of the Dark Side. The board would be clear right now, letting that power be online completely. If he did use that Rivals Fall previously, we'll have to see what unit Logan ends up playing here, and if that Rivals Fall power would have been better to use last turn. So we are going to see the power again. Like, it makes sense, but to me, like, you want power. Ideally, you want power to answer a unit that he does still have the Rivals Fall, though, to answer pretty much anything that Logan does here. So
yeah, one key thing with Bossk is when you get to this stage in the game is knowing what removal you've used, what removal you've resourced, and what's left in your deck. So there's the Rivals Fall. So
yeah,
the second Falcon, maybe the third is dealt with.
That's the second one.
Yeah, and eventually Logan's probably going to. Well, he's ramping up to 8 available resources here, I believe. So we might be seeing a home 1 to play that Falcon back at some point. Oh, yeah. There it is.
Yeah, the 8 resources for the Falcon replay there. One of Han's greatest plays, honestly, just the immediate attack, restore, and the pushing in for damage, like 10 damage in space. Caio claimed probably faster than I've ever seen anyone claim before, staring at that super laser in hand. Logan thinking about bouncing the Falcon, but deciding to keep it up and just pressure, kind of really bait out the super laser. He's got to know that the super laser is coming. We haven't seen one yet in this match, so kind of baiting it out. I feel like if you know a seasoned Han player leaves Falcon on the board when the super lasers come in, you know he has a contingency plan.
Yeah, I think
I did see one DJ in the resource line. He has got a stack of resources there. What is he on, like 12? Oh, he's actually going to see that.
It looks like 13 or 14. It's a lot.
So that's exactly what I'm saying there. He did pick the Falcon up, so he did not have a way to recover from that. He wants that Falcon, right? And Falcon is honestly, probably the MVP card against Control because its ability to bounce, because we're going to see the super laser here, even though he bounced the Falcon, because Caio cannot take that 7 damage. He can't take it.
I think what happened there was he saw Logan look at Caio's discard pile, and I think he was counting how many Power of the Dark Sides and Merciless have been played, because by removing the Falcon, you're trying to dodge Super Laser, but you're really playing into Power of the Dark Side or Merciless contest.
Right.
So I suspect he looked at the discard pile and saw like maybe 3 copies of each, or 3 of one and 2 of the other. I'd have to count how many have been played, but he must not have been super worried about that card,
Yeah. Yeah, I think we saw 2 powers and 1 merciless so far this game, so about half of them. So I guess Logan was like, all right, coin flip it, let's go.
Yeah, it's just a tough spot for Caio. He's got a Vigilance and a Force Choke, it looks like, and
neither of those answers Falcon.
Yeah, the Falcon really is what gets you in this matchup, I feel.
Yeah, you definitely want open fire for the Falcon. It is the best answer for Falcon. They're both 3 costs, so it's like the cleanest answer for Falcon.
There's DJ.
Seeing the natural smuggle for 7 on DJ. Logan having how many resources now? 7.
9, actually.
11, 12, 13. He's all the way up to now 14 resource. Soon to be just destroy 1. So he is at 13 after he destroys Caio's resource here.
Yeah, that's wild. He paid 9 resources for the DJ. Like that's crazy. Oh, what's interesting here is he didn't
Han power, yeah.
Yeah, so he couldn't. Kyle's like, "Give me back my resource."
And the surprise strike Falcon.
Yep, that's classic.
Yeah, for 6 damage. Being on 24, 6 damage, and there it is. That is the finals match of the Portal Store Showdown. Portal Comics and Gaming, thanks for hosting. Another great Store Showdown. Logan, this is the second time he's won a Store Showdown at the Portal. The reigning champ, surely going to be coming back in set 4 to defend his title. Will he be using Han Green again? Well, you know where to catch that match. That is on Random Number Gaming. Thanks for joining us, and please, and also thank you, Anthony, for joining us as well. Any final words about this matchup?
I'm getting flashbacks to the end of set 2.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and if you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and please always turn your dial to Random Number Gaming for the best match videos and commentary.